Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I have something a little different. Recently, I was trying to make Battlefield fresh again. I mean, the game's been out for quite some time, and every once in a while I do get bored of it, so I look for ways on how to make it interesting, and the way I did it for today's video was to try out the infrared night vision scope. And I've never really used this before, even when it was overpowered when the game was first released. If you remember back then, really, you could see through walls with this scope. It was fantastic. And really the only downside of it was that it kind of obstructed your vision when you zoomed in along the border, and you had to adjust, or you had to steady your aim. But really, other than that, it was fantastic. Everyone lit up like Christmas trees in front of you. It was just great. But then DICE decided to nerf it, which at the time I thought was a good thing. It was definitely overpowered, but I also think they went a little bit too hard with the nerf bat. It was to the point where if an enemy was 10 meters out, you couldn't even see them. There was like this mist or the fog in front of your scope, and it was pretty much useless, so really no one used it. But then I think DICE kind of slipped in the patch notes that they were going to buff it a little bit, and I think that's where we are right now. And to be honest, I think that the infrared night vision scope is kind of awesome, and to the point where it's not overpowered, it's not underpowered, it's kind of in that nice little sweet spot where it's, you know, it's in line with all of the other scopes, which is exactly where it should be. But now I wanted to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of the scope. Like I said, it is balanced, so it has both, like every single good scope out there should. You know, it shouldn't be good in every single situation, and that's exactly true with the infrared night vision scope. And one of the main things that I had to get used to is that it is a pretty large scope, so it takes quite a long time for you to aim down sight. So if you're going against someone who's using a Cobra sight, or they're just using the iron sights, you're going to be at a disadvantage when you're up close and personal, because they just can aim down sight a lot faster and start shooting at you faster. So that was something I had to get used to, and I had to move around the map a lot more methodically. I couldn't just go all Rambo like if I was using a Cobra sight, so it was a kind of adjustment there. Another thing is that the infrared night vision scope only shows or only glows the enemy at a certain distance. So if a target is way off in the distance, they're not going to light up like a Christmas tree like they do up close. So it's kind of this contradictory where they have to be up close, but when they're up close, you're at a disadvantage because you have that slow aim down sight, and so you're going to get killed. So like I said, it was something you had to get used to. But that isn't to say that because the target is way off in the distance, you can't kill them. As you guys can see in the video, I can still see movement out there. I can still see when a target, you know, is out in the open, and I can take them out. Even if they are behind or in a building, like on the Strike at Karkin footage, I can still see the target in the building window even when they're not glowing, and still take them out. Another negative aspect of the scope is that it blocks a lot of your peripheral vision when you're aiming down sight, which can leave you susceptible to getting flanked, and that did happen to me every once in a while. The one way I got around it was that if I was trying to kind of scope out an area, I would just kind of stand still, look around, look for movement, and then I would aim down sight quickly and then zoom back out and you know, see if anyone popped up on my infrared, because you do want to take advantage of it. As you guys can see in the video, there were some circumstances where there was a guy in a bush and I had no idea they were there just by looking at the scenery around me, but then when I aimed down sight, I saw them and I was able to take them out. But like I said, it does block a lot of your peripheral vision, so I wouldn't stay zoomed in all day. I know it's tempting because people do just light up like crazy, and it's just amazing what you can see with the infrared scope on, but just don't do it all the time. Try to zoom out every once in a while so you can see what's around you and you don't get flanked. But moving on to the advantages of the scope, and really the main reason why you would want to use it is that if a target is at medium to close range, they really just light up like a Christmas tree. I mean, if a person is in a rubble, you aim down sight, you will have no problem taking them out or seeing them, and if you were using any other scope, you might have missed them and looked over them, and they would have been able to take you out as you ran by. And really that is the best reason to use this scope. Another great advantage of the scope, and something I was not expecting, is that when you're aiming at the sun, or you have the sun's glare in front of you, and you're aiming down sight, you no longer have that disadvantage. So if I was on casting border, I was trying to attack the hilltop, if I aimed up towards the objective to try to take out anyone that was along the ridge, I had no problem seeing them. And normally I would. The sun would just blind me and I wouldn't be able to take out any targets. Sure, the targets weren't glowing and they just were kind of black, but I was still able to see them and take them out. So that was something I was not expecting. So if you're having trouble on maps like Sharkey Peninsula, especially on Rush or Caspian Border, the infrared scope might be the right scope in those certain situations. But overall, I had a lot of fun with the infrared night vision scope. I was not expecting it to be as fun as it was. It really did freshen up my gameplay, and it made things very exciting. I kind of felt like I was playing a different game for a couple of days, and it really was quite enjoyable. So if you haven't tried it out already, or you just thought it was completely useless, it's not useless, and it is a lot of fun. So I would highly recommend trying it out. But that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more. But until next time, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.